This is a special edition of Weather Scope with the latest winter storm update.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Sharon Resulton, live here at the Weather Channel Forecast Center. I want to update you on our very latest winter storm. It's brought some hefty snowfall amounts into parts of the Northeast, but the big problem this evening are very icy conditions extending from the Carolinas and actually southern Virginia all the way back into parts of the deep south. In some places we have ice accumulations anywhere from 3 to up to 6 inches deep and very, very treacherous travel across a good chunk of the country. Let's take you first to show you the satellite picture, and we'll get a good feel for our system as it moves swiftly off to the north and east. I do want to show you there's a lot of cold air also winding in behind this. The infrared satellite picture depicting that cold air, and we've got single digits below zero, believe it or not, as far south as Kansas. Some very, very chilly temperatures. Currently it's 26 below in International Falls. You folks in Chicago dealing with temperatures 12 below zero right now and 27 as far south as Atlanta. Factor in the winds and it feels brutally cold. 1 above in Atlanta, 26 below as we head out toward Covington, and 37 degrees below zero is what it feels like in Chicago. Green Bay, a wind chill of 60 below. We don't think it's going to get much better tomorrow. Saturday's forecast still showing dangerously cold wind chills. Make sure you bundle up tomorrow if you're heading out and about. Make sure your car is in good working order. And of course, don't always trust the car battery. Take the booster cables just in case. You never know when you're going to run into a problem. A lot of the batteries in the car is getting taxed by all the cold weather. Standing by live in Washington, D.C. is our own Jill Brown. She's here to tell us about conditions in the nation's capital. Jill?
Hi, Sharon. The snow has picked up a little bit in the last half hour or so. We haven't really seen a whole lot of accumulation yet, maybe about an inch this evening. Of course, I did get 2 or 3 inches this morning, and it is expected to continue on this evening. Now, this will not be the biggest snow of the year. I think that the blizzard is definitely going to outdo this one by a long shot. But we do want people to know that there's a winter storm warning in effect. We do have very cold temperatures, snow and blowing snow, so that's going to make it a little bit difficult to keep the roadways clear. And by the time you get up tomorrow morning, that snow hopefully will be beginning to wind down a little bit, but we will have anywhere from 6 inches to maybe 10 or 11 inches of snow on the ground. Now, the good news is we had a lot of folks go home early or not come out at all today, so the rush hour was okay, and now that has wound down, we've had just a few reports of accidents, so take it easy on the roadways if you have to go out. Airports have been doing great. It's been light blowing snow, but they got most of the latest departures out of National, and they are really winding things down because we haven't seen too many flights. But as it gets into the late Friday night, they'll see a few more incoming flights, but not that many outgoing. So as the snow picks up, hopefully they'll be coming at the tail end of their busy day.
And Jill, we do think that snow will be picking up. How do the roadways seem? It doesn't appear like there's very much traffic behind you at all. You think most people just, if they had to be out and about today, went home and stayed home?
Well, a lot of people did stay home today, and while this afternoon it wasn't too bad, they got the morning snow, and then it was just wet roadways. They got their chance to run their errands and be prepared for tonight. You're looking back over Independence Avenue, a few cars occasionally going by, but really a quiet Friday evening, and you know how it is when you get the snow and it just kind of muffles everything. It's just turning into a real quiet night out through here and kind of desolate.
I think folks are getting very experienced with these kind of storms up there around the nation's capital. Thanks, Jill. We'll check in with you a bit later. Let's take you first as we head back down toward Atlantic City, actually a little further north and east, and show you what folks there need to find some of that moisture streaming rather swiftly to the northeast. Radar exaggerating things a bit, not actually seeing any precipitation yet for the Big Apple on up toward Hartford. However, heavy snow warnings are in effect for much of Connecticut, so do keep that in mind, the potential for the snow increasing, as well as around D.C. And we are seeing a little bit of darker green. Jill mentioned it looked like the snow was picking up there, and indeed it appears to be around D.C. You head downstate, and we find around Charlottesville and extending back down toward Lynchburg some snow and also a mixture of precipitation, snow and sleet currently around the Lynchburg area. So definitely talking about some sloppy conditions from Virginia on into the Carolinas. Another area that has been very, very, well, icy and treacherous has been in Tennessee. We're going to take you now to Jeff Morrow, who is standing by just south and east of the Nashville area. Jeff, how are things there?
Okay, we're in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which is indeed about 25-30 miles southeast of Nashville along Interstate 24. The interstate actually is right behind me, the interchange back there. This is one of the highways leading up to that. And I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's a lot of snow still packed on these roads. And underneath that, the light may be glaring off some of the ice. There's a lot of ice underneath a lot of this packed snow. So the driving, even though the snow is over with, in fact, the moon is out here, is very treacherous. And a lot of folks, the later on as we've gotten into the evening, seem to be staying home. There's not a lot of traffic out here at all. There are some snow plows which are trying to make the roadways a little bit better, but I guess the best advice would be just to stay off the roadways tonight.
Well, Jeff, we did a little research, and Punxsutawney Phil did, in fact, see his shadow today, so that, buddy, means 6 more weeks of winter. How do you feel about that?
I don't feel very good about that at all, because I think a lot of folks here, particularly in the South, are a little bit tired of this winter already, and to know that we might have 6 more weeks, well, let's just hope that Phil is wrong.
Not the kind of question I should be asking someone who's standing out there in wind chills in the teens below zero. Keep warm. We'll check in with you next hour. Okay, we're going to check things out, too, as we work our way down toward Monteagle, Tennessee. This is actually just north and west of Chattanooga. As you can imagine, still seeing some frozen precipitation. And, in fact, let me advance this and show you the radar. We still have some moisture into eastern Tennessee. Folks there not recommending any travel east of Interstate 65, even if the snow has ended in middle Tennessee. Still some very slick conditions, blowing snow, reducing visibilities there. Heading on into Knoxville, problem areas here. We continue to see some heavy sleet at times and some freezing rain mixing with some of that snow. Asheville also seeing some snowfall, and it is just one big mess across much of eastern Tennessee on into western sections of North Carolina. We'll expand the picture a little bit closer here. We'll go on into Atlanta. This again is some sleet and some freezing rain moving on into Atlanta. Just north of Atlanta around Marietta reporting some snow, but Atlanta Airport reporting that freezing rain, which is going to continue to cause some treacherous travel. And to the south of that, a rain event and lots of it across North Florida. The potential perhaps for some flooding conditions, and we continue to see still a few rumbles of thunder in parts of North Florida. Let's check out your weekend forecast in the studio.
All right, thanks, Sharon. Ahead of this particular frontal boundary and more heavy snow possible, about 6 to 12 inches of snow perhaps in Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware, and probably someone is going to see a little more than a foot of snow. Notice down through the Appalachians, we're expecting about 6 to 12 inches of snow as well. Now in the west,